I want to go over this great book. It's called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and it's all small stuff. Simple Ways to Keep the Little Things from Taking Over Your Life by Richard Carson. This book contains of 100 mini chapters. And I'm going to go over 10 of them. 10 that are my favorite, but there's a lot of great topics. Number 1, don't sweat the small stuff. Number 2, don't interrupt others or finish their sentences. Number 3, do something nice for someone else and don't tell anyone about it. Number 4, become more patient. Number 5, surrender to the fact that life isn't fair. Number 6, seek first to understand. Number 7, relax. Number 8, stop blaming others. Number 9, mind your own business. Number 10, live this day as if it were your last. It might be. I'm going to read too many chapters just so you get an idea. I'm going to begin with live this day as if it were your last. It might be. When are you going to die? In 50 years? 20? 10? 5? Today? Last time I checked, no one had told me. I often wonder when listening to the news, did the person who died in the auto accident on his way home from work remember to tell his family how much he loved him? Did he live well? Did he love well? Perhaps the only thing that is certain is that he still had things in his basket that weren't yet done. The truth is, none of us had any idea how long we have to live. Sadly, however, we act as if we were going to live forever. We postpone the things that deep down we know we want to do. Telling the people we love how much we care. Spending time alone. Visiting a good friend. Taking that beautiful hike. Running a marathon. Writing a heartfelt letter. Going fishing with your daughter. Learning to meditate. Becoming a better listener. And on and on. We come up with elaborate and sophisticated rationales to justify our actions and end up spending most of our time and energy doing things that aren't all that important. We argue for our limitations and they become our limitations. I felt it appropriate to end this book by suggesting that you live each day as if it were your last one on this earth. I suggest this not as a prescription to be reckless or to abandon your responsibilities, but to remind you of how precious life really is. A friend of mine once said, life is too important to take too seriously. 10 years later, I know he was right. I hope that this book has been and will continue to be helpful to you. Please don't forget the most basic strategy of all. Don't sweat the small stuff. I will end this book by sincerely saying, I wish you well. Treasure yourself. The other mini chapter that I'm going to read is don't interrupt others or finish their sentences. Wrong page. It was chapter 7. The other one that I read was chapter 100. Okay, here we go. It wasn't until a few years ago that I realized how often I interrupted others and or finished their sentences. Shortly thereafter, I also realized how destructive this habit was, not only to respect and love I received from the others, but also for the tremendous amount of energy it takes to try to be in two heads at once. Think about it for a moment. When you hurry someone along, interrupt someone, or finish his or her sentence, you have to keep track not only of your own thoughts, but of those of the person you are interrupting as well. This tendency, which, by the way, is extremely common in busy people, encourages both parties to speed up their speech and their thinking. This, in turn, makes both people nervous, irritable, and annoyed, is downright exhausting. It also caused many arguments because if there's one thing almost everyone resents is someone who doesn't listen to what they are saying. And how can you really listen to what someone is saying when you are speaking for that person? Once you begin noticing yourself interrupting others, you'll see that this insidious tendency is nothing more than an innocent habit that has become invisible to you. This is good news because it means that all you really have to do is to begin catching yourself when you forget. Remind yourself before a conversation begins, if possible, to be patient and wait. Tell yourself to allow the other person to finish speaking before you take your turn. You'll notice right away how much the interactions with the people in your life will improve as a direct result of this simple act. The people you communicate with will feel much more relaxed around you when they feel heard and listened to. You'll also notice how much more relaxed you'll feel when you stop interrupting others. Your heart and pulse rates will slow down, and you'll begin to enjoy your conversations rather than rush through them. This is an easy way to become a more relaxed, loving person. So I gave you examples of two small, short chapters. So this book is great. It's a must-have. Again, it's called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and it's almost all small stuff. Simple ways to keep the little things from taking over your life, by Richard Carson.